Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpacktrader training room for Tuesday, November 22nd, Thanksgiving week. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. There is significant risk of loss in this type of trading, and it should be entered into only with capital you can afford to lose, i.e. risk capital. All right. And one moment while I manage a micro crude trade. All right, let's get back to this. We are in a short on crude from 81.19. It was a stop and reverse. Stop and reverse adjustment brings it to 21. Key level brings it to 19. Money management is at 81.07. Target at 81.05. And we have a get in sync possible on the YM. So soybeans also with a possible get in sync. Market's just about to open. Please do say hello in the chat. And good morning, Miles, Jeff, William. Now, we did have an earlier long on crude. This 10 minutes after 9. By the way, the short was no, I take that back. The short would have been wow. Didn't have these trades on the micro crude. So we would have had the short. That's right. That went money management, and yes, I did see that. Stopped out for the one tick break even, money management, and a second one tick break even. No targets today, making life kind of difficult. So we have our stop and reverse loss from 36 to 19. So 17 ticks, 34 loss. So we're down 30 with one. Actually, no, that was the end of the session. That was the third trade. Difficult morning. Pound Aussie looks like it's just, did it hit it yet? 29, yes. Money management is at 29.4, so we just hit money management. Stop is going to come to break even, plus your one tick. Okay, and managing a trade here. So our stop will be 79.13 on the close of this. We'd go ahead and move it to 79.13 and we'll see where it goes from there. That's where it's going to stay for the moment. And a short on the YM. The YM did not come back to us, but now we have a short at 918. That definitely looks like a reaction move. You might wait for that to test the highs one time before taking that. And that Russell trade too fast to catch on the catapult, micro Russell. I'll get back to unleaded here in a few minutes. And we picked up a short on soybeans. Actually, yeah, possibly got into that long soybeans trade, but most likely not. Now, the one you definitely might have gotten into would be this add-on, and that would have also been a target one, coming off for one tick. A bunch of target ones, so definitely should be a POQ session, one and done session on soybeans this morning. 3 different chances to pick up a target one, all of them stopping out for. Now, the initial one got 25 to, yeah, you got 3 ticks on the trailer. The other 2 just a single tick on the trailer. But one and done nonetheless. And the YM with a full stop out. 39 tick loss, 39 tick risk. That would be 78 tick loss on 2 positions. All right, let's take a look at unleaded. Come back to 9 o'clock. Right in here. So we get it. If you're using the SMA trade, that dark blue trade, we do get in sync with that. And unfortunately, then it goes almost immediately to a stop and reverse at 26. So 20. So just a 22 tick loss, 44 or 22 tick risk from the short to the long entry. We avoided this long. We didn't avoid this one. So we got, it had a 20, as I say, a 40. We're down 44 there. Target 1 traders picked up 39 on the, oh, this is going to be close. Target 1 traders are going to be 4 ticks down at the end of that trade. That's going to be tough. Target 2 traders are down 42 still. And then we take a full loss on the long for 84 ticks. And this short, I believe, is, yeah, 06 to 11. So it was 5 seconds down and back up to here. I would call that trade as too fast to execute. So no entry on that short. We get a new short here that looks like it has entered. Target 1 looks like it probably has hit target 1. Let's see. Target 1 was 42.50. And we got as low as, yep, hit target 1 on the head. So target 1 traders pick up 36. So you were down 88. So you're down 52. And still needing to work some. And target 2 traders pick up 56. From 84 and 42 is 126. So you're down 70. And here's a trailer coming in. YM target 1 on the short. And now stopping and reversing, we're positive, so you don't necessarily adjust that. So in the long at 923, so it's picked up 39 on target 1. That was half of our initial trade loss, so we're down 39. Pick up 20. Entry was 33 to 23, so we pick up another 10 on the reversing exit. So down 29, and there's a stat that went through too fast to have caught. So you take a full stop on the long, and we're not in the short, and it's hit money management, so no chance to get that. Okay, let's see what we do with this short on. That's a break even on the Russell. Unleaded, picking up the short. We're waiting for a new setup on the YM. Soybeans is done. There's the stop now at stop at 56 from the entry at 86 gives us 30. So target 1 traders are down 22. Target 2 traders are down 40. And getting close to getting positive there. And we go long now on unleaded. 42.66. Looking like that. And that's a full ouch. That takes a full loss. So what do we got here? 1, 2, 3. That was a no trade. 4, 5. We can take one more trade. And there it is, a short. And definitely in it. And another full stop there. So a losing session on unleaded this morning. Long possibility on the Russell. And definitely time to get in that. Maybe you push that up one tick. Let's also bring up the MNQ. Nothing there. Start time at 4 minutes after market open. Right in there. No trade so far. Okay. Yeah, we're at 79.13 for our stop. On the pound Aussie. Not quite hitting target one, so all of our positions are still, and we'll actually lose a couple of ticks if we stop out here. 2.5, because I started that trade with a 3.5 pip spread. So if we stop out here, it'll be a break even on the system and a net loss on the spread. That's a trade cost, or that's how most of us treat it. And a new long on the YM, getting us all to target one quickly. Was that too? No, it doesn't look like it was too fast. Yeah, it's 10 seconds to the bar close, so we should have been able to get into that. And a 23 tick target. Time circuit breaker on those, I believe, is, I think it's noon exchange time. So that would be Central Time U.S. Good morning, Pamela. Good morning, Trader Man. Good morning, Arizona Bob. 904 on the YM long for this trailing stop. 42.8 for the Russell. The Russell looking for target 3. And the YM stopping out and actually reversing at 904 to a short. So picking up 3 ticks on the trailer along with the 23. Picking up 26 there. And a break-even trade on the Russell. Yeah, micro NQ definitely going slow this morning. Was already headed down. Yeah, headed down shortly before market open. We got a setup before market open that hit target, or I'm sorry, hit entry and stop on the same bar. Basically closing almost a minute after the open. So that one possibly would have been a valid trade. You have to take that bar, use a faster chart, and look at what happened when, or or if you're trading that, you have to be watching it. But if it didn't hit the entry before hitting the stop, then it would be a valid trade, and that would be a nice little winner. Would already be target 3 and 4 and trailing. I believe it's 6 ticks above the EMA, so it's 72. Oh no, let's see. Is it 6? I forget now what the trailer is on that. All right, and the short on the YM picking up a target 1 as well. Come back to that in just a minute. Yeah, trail offset is 6 ticks. So with that at 66, call it 75. So 72.25 would be the current stop. Now let's see. That came all the way down here to there. And you would have, it's 25. So you're going to have 48.75. And yep, that next bar got to 49. So stopping out at 48.75, that would have been a nice trade if it were possible. Yeah. Well, not necessarily. Let's see. Target 1 would have been, 16. Yeah. Yep, we would have been taken out. You're right, William. Would have been taken out at break even. Ah, well. See where it goes from here. All right. Pound Aussie trailer at 79.17 now. And we're about 7 minutes. Well, maybe not. Just hitting the stop doesn't necessarily negate the trade. The trade doesn't cancel until you actually get a crossover of the cat lines, assuming it didn't hit the entry first. If you didn't, if you did not, if it didn't touch the entry before it went to the stop, it's still valid if it comes down and hits the entry later. And that's true of counterpunch or spotlight as well. Unless you actually get a close at or beyond the stop, a trade that touches the stop before hitting the entry is still valid. And yet, if you look at that trade, that's exactly the reason why you do that. But unless you get a new crossover, basically setting up a potential trade in the opposite direction between these cat lines, and they remain with the fast line below the slow line, never. It came together and crossed over right here, it looks like. Or it looks like it came together anyway. Okay, yeah. If it hit the entry first and then went to stop, then it does cancel. The trade does cancel at the stop, whether you're in it or not, whether we're able to execute it or not. I mean, that bar was over 2 minutes long. 28.21 to 30.54. So it didn't close until almost a minute after the market opened, but that would have been prior to our start time at 34. So and here we are with a long now that we're talking about it. And that's a larger long than usual. Yeah, time circuit breaker on the NQ is trade up until noon Central Time. So 8:34 to noon. But then you can test that to see what you like, if there's something that works better for you, and if you need to be, obviously if you don't want to potentially sit in front of the computer for 3.5 hours, then you can test for something else. All right, looks like we did get target one on the pound Aussie and came back to stop out at 79.19. So a POQ one and done session on the pound Aussie. The Russell, now that was a break even. Russell with a short now. And I'm going to prep for crude 10 a.m. session. That trade was a stop out, so we're flat waiting for our first trade on crude. Big trade on the Russell. Big wick on the bar, on the setup bar. The YM kind of going sideways at this point. What did we pick up on the short? 24, 25 ticks. Probably not enough to get us positive yet. All right. And just kind of, oh, by the way, we're moving slowly today. And which is not too surprising. There are probably a number of people not number of the normal players not trading today, taking the week off, being a holiday week. And another quick long trade. That's just 6 seconds up to there. I would say that's a no trade. Quick bounce on the YM and a full stop out on the Russell. Wow. YM taking a quick move up. And definitely in the long on the Russell, 46.2. So micro NQ is long, micro Russell is long. And crude 10 a.m. session has started. And there was our trade right there. Now, could we have gotten into it? Yeah, that bar was long enough. We should be in that trade. That's a quick one and done session. $13 and $21, 34 ticks on that trade. Winner on the Russell, target 3. Trailing at 46.8 now. Yes, fairly significant difference. I actually ended up positive on MCL this morning, whereas crude ended up with a negative trade sequence, or slightly negative trade sequence. But this 10 a.m. session, pretty much the same trade. I didn't have the early break-even trade, or actually the early. Let's see, we had a. So yeah, that was the short that broke even. I did not have on MCL. Otherwise, this trade was almost identical because it spiked through to 37, and I adjusted my entry to 38, and then ultimately had a stop and reverse here. Mine was at like 22. Full contract was 19. And you got 2 break evens and the stop and reverse on the full contract. And I was able to get it, not having that initial break even, I was able to get out with a couple of wins. To offset that stop and reverse. And finishing out the trade at 32 from 26. So we get 6 ticks on the trailer if you were trailing. That completes the 10 a.m. session. And the YM touching the entry on the. I wasn't watching that, but I suspect that was just spike it through the entry and then head back up. So most likely not in this trade yet. And the Russell did stop out. And we have a new long on the YM at 991. Yeah, at the full stop. That went through, in 2 seconds. So right now that's a get in sync trade. So far it was too fast to execute. Well, I need a pullback to get into that. Target 1 on the MNQ on that big trade. That one at long wick, making for a 26-point risk. Target 1 is 32.25 points. I would take that because that's bigger than your normal target 2. And trailing stop at 56.75, 556.75. I won't play with the money management so much as I'll go ahead and take profit at target 1. When it does that, it gives it a little bit more room to breathe, but because you didn't have a wick. That wick wouldn't quite have taken you out, but if you play with the money management, you stand the chance of getting a pullback that knocks you out at break even. As I say, I would have gone ahead and taken target 1 as a target on this trade. Rather than waiting for target 2. Now, I certainly won't be disappointed in target 2 because that's 54.75 ticks. Or I'm sorry, 53 54 and 3/4 points. But instead of a 16.5 point risk, you had a 26 point risk. But it was very close. Target one was very close to a 1-to-1. No, actually, target 26. Yeah, target one was actually better than a 1-to-1 risk ratio. So I definitely would take profit at target one on that one, rather than waiting for 2, 3, and 4. I'd go 1, 2, and 3 and trail, or rather than trailing, just take the 4 targets on that one. The likelihood of that one trailing beyond the targets is not very good, being as target 4 is 99 and 3/4 points. You is that what you do on these big trades, or is that what you do on the normal trades? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's along the lines of what I would be doing on this as well. Yeah. 2, 2, 3, and 4, 2, 3, 4, and trail on the normal size trades. I would certainly agree with that. That falls along the lines of take what the market is going to give you. All right. So that's the first trade. That's the only trade we've had so far on the MNQ today. Not necessarily the size of the risk. I'll make it based on risk reward. The normal target 2 on the bar there that doesn't have the wick on it is going to be 26.5 ticks, or 26.5 points on this particular chart. So when target 1 exceeds that level, I'll take a quick hard look at whether I want to actually take profit at target 1, since target 2, 26.5 points is my normal target level. But when I get a case where, in this case, it's 32.25 points, and it's also better than 1-to-1 risk ratio, I'll take profit at target 1. But in other words, I'll just move my targets down a step, but effectively, because of the size of the trades, it's still a bigger trade than normal. But that's something basically kind of peculiar to the quarter point, or not to these catapult type, and this is a custom catapult plan. But, kind of basically look at risk rewards, look at where that target is relative to what your normal is, or what to just a standard bar without a wick. And the wick bars with the wick are going to change the trade profile. So it just depends on how big the wick is, how big the trade is going to be. So that's why it's basically on a case-by-case basis whether I move my targets or not. Basically, that's the only different thing I'll do is I'll move the targets down a step and go from there. Basically, that's going to be, and that's an account size decision. You're going to basically look at what your risk profile is. The risk on this trade is 26 points. So that's what, in this case, it's $52 per contract on the micro NQ. So that's where what's your 2% risk on your account. If you're working with a $10,000 account, you're looking at a $200 risk. So you can essentially take 4 contracts on a $10,000 account, and I would go 2, 3. Normally, I'd go 2, 3, 4 and trail, but for a trade like this, I just bring my targets in a step. So it's 1, 2, 3 and trail. But the number of positions you take is going to be based on your trade plan, assuming that your account size will support that number of positions, or at least that number of contracts. And then as your account grows, you add contracts to the existing positions. So once you get to about 12.5, you'd add a 5th contract. Typically, that would be I typically would start on the norm at target 2, and because my norm is targets at target 2, 3, and 4. So essentially, I'd add contracts beginning at my first target. And it also takes a while to start trailing. You see, trailer is still at break even, and because the trailing starts at 200% of target 1. So it's going to be like, we're not going to start trailing until we hit 64.5 points from our entry at 56.50. So 64 puts us at 621 is our, so right there is where right there is where we'll actually start trailing. And you see, it would have taken us out a couple of times on the trailer, not there because we hadn't gotten to break even yet, but this one would have taken us out of the trailer had we started trailing earlier. But we did pick up a target 2 there at 54.75 points. So that's 55, 87 points on 2 targets so far. And that's assuming 1 contract per position. No, I don't necessarily getting that. Yeah, we're essentially 2 points away. Yeah, with that big a trade, I might seriously look at doing an in bar, maybe three to 5 bars back, just to. So I might go ahead and yeah, I think I'd probably do something like that. 87, 75, 86, 25. So put the stop about right there. Actually, with NinjaTrader, I the way if I've got that history, on the platform, because if you set it to do so, it will record your history or record the real time data as history. So anything that I've had a chart running on, it's got the history stored in NinjaTrader, which is very nice. TradeStation will do somewhat the same, I think. Troy is going to be your better resource for that. Yeah, and that's something you can. I think you can download your. If you go ahead and download, each contract, about the time you do at rollover, make sure you've got the data. You can go back to it for testing later. I think there's a way to do that in TradeStation. I know I can do. Basically, as long as I pull the data down. Right. It does. It's a running year. It would be a running year on your TA typically, but that's just going to be how it works out. But it just depends on the market, and it wouldn't see the other side of that. It wouldn't necessarily be just a year. If As I say, talk to Troy. In fact, are you going to be in the office hours today for CEO Trader Mastermind? That would be a good question to ask him there, because he's got the experience with TradeStation that I don't, and since I'm a NinjaTrader user and have been all along. I don't think you actually have to save the workspace. I think there's another way that you can save the data. I typically, because you can actually use your historical data for playback as well. You don't necessarily have to save data for playback. But I typically I have my platform set to record real-time data as historical. So I don't so anything I've got a chart running for on a normal basis, I don't have to go back and download additional historical data. Now I already have the historical data out there. I just have to go back and get historical data to fill in the gaps. Let's see. It's okay. This is the tools options. I believe it's under market data. Yeah, enable market recording for playback. And I haven't. That's I didn't do that when I set this machine up. So that's it. It's the record live data is historical. Okay, yes. So I may actually leave that not set. I had previously set that on some others, my other platforms. They've added that to the settings. Yeah, and that's the thing, if you download historical data, it's on your machine until you change machines. So it's not in NinjaTrader. Once you've downloaded it, you've got that data. It's not something that you just. It's a matter of how far back you want to look on what you've already got saved. Um, Not terribly storage intensive. Tick data is obviously going to take more space, but when I build machines, I always make sure I got plenty of storage on them. So and I build my own hardware and have for 30 some odd years. So. I've got something like 2 terabytes of flash drive or flash drive space, solid state drives in my laptop. So, and I've been running this laptop for basically a year, and let me see how I'm doing. Yeah, I've only used about 10 gig on the primary drive, and actually where on my data drive, where I know that's where I've got stuff saving to for data wise, I've used 200 gig. No, I've used 100 gig roughly on the primary drive and 200 gig on the second drive. Now I've been a computer hobbyist for 35 plus years. Started building my own machines back in the IBM XT days. Back when my first machine was a dual floppy. All right. There was a little pullback. Now let's see if it's going to continue up. The Russell's showing a bit of a reaction there. Now let's see if we get a subsequent action move. And there is a long trade on the Russell. Yeah. Yes, that brings back memories. I used punch cards in college. Yeah, I remember having a box programs for school. I'd have a box of cards. It was a program. Okay, there you go. We got the up move and it okay, and it looks like it's going to stop out. Yeah, looks like it stopped out at 606.25. Yeah, yeah. I actually the first programming I ever did was on a teletype system with paper roll tape back in 8th grade. My junior high had two timeshare terminals from a local insurance company. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've seen, and my dad was IBM, so I've seen a lot of the changes in the computer industry over the last 40 years. Yeah, Troy will tell you about getting data. No, I don't. I think it's getting historical data weekly or weekly. I think it was. Just paper charts. And he's been in this stuff since before it's been on computers. So. Well, that's my dad working there was definitely on the employee stock purchase program. He definitely had a bunch of IBM. I didn't have a lot of it, but I have a few old shares of Netflix that are like I've had for what 17, 18 years. Have a basis of about $3 a share. I think I paid the average on them was about $21 a share, and then of course Netflix split 7 for 1. All right, so solid win. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean this current down turn has hurt it a little bit, but you know what? That original $800 position grew into a couple 100,000. Now it's not that now, but at Netflix's highs, it was up over 200,000. All right, I think we're about done. And now the Russell picking up a nice short. The MNQ taking a full stop out on a short. Maybe, maybe not in that one, but an interesting mixed bag this morning. Now that's the way the software is written um, for all of Troy's systems. Is just touching the stop doesn't cancel necessarily cancel a trade. For Catapult, you know, if you don't hit the entry before hitting the stop, the trade is still valid as long, for Catapult, the only thing that will cancel the trade is a crossover of the balance line or the cat lines. For Spotlight and Counterpunch, you have your two closes on the opposite side of the balance or signal line, or a close at or beyond the stop. But it has to be a close. You can hit the stop, and as long as you don't close beyond the stop, close at or beyond the stop, the trade is still valid. assuming it has not hit its entry already. FOMC announcement the day before Thanksgiving, could be very interesting because I would bet that trading is going to be a little thin tomorrow. Okay, Catapult, the only thing that will cancel a trade is the crossover the cat lines. So even a close beyond the stop will not cancel the trade, assuming it has not already triggered in. The only time a stop has any meaning is if the trade has already triggered in. So that's why when on those bars it hit both the entry and the stop on the same bar, that's why the calculator doesn't track those, because it doesn't know what the status was intra-bar. But if you're trading, in front of the chart trading it, you can see if it's hit the entry and it goes to the stop. Yes, the trade's over, whether you executed it or not. But if it doesn't hit the entry and goes to the stop, right? If it goes to the stop without hitting the entry first, the trade is still valid. So if it comes back to the entry, then you would take it. And let's see. Let me see if I can. Let's bring that one up. Okay. Okay. Here's the MNQ that we're working with, and I'm going to put some lines in for the entry. Okay, that tells us when our setup was, and I'll put a. All right, that's our stop and our entry. The green dotted vertical line is our setup. So now I will make that. I'm going to make it a 15-second. Okay, here is our trade time. There's the entry, and then you can very definitely see that it did not hit the entry before it hit the stop, then came back down to the entry. So that would have been a valid trade. This line is the entry. That line was the stop. And I could care less what the catapult signals on this chart are. I'm just looking for what happened in that time frame from the setup to the, so we set up here, it went up, almost came down to the entry, missed it by a tick, it looks like. Looks like that entry was the same, even 1050. Yeah. And our lowest point before going up to the stop was 610.75. So it never triggered in, touched the stop, and came back. So that was a valid trade. And that's how you take it apart. You go ahead and create a new chart, or copy the chart. Put a horizontal line on at the time of the setup to mark your time frame, and vertical line to mark your time frame for the setup, horizontal lines for your entry and stop, and then you can see what happened. Sometimes you have to go down as much as a 5-second chart. I've seen that. But in this case, 15 was enough to tell us that we got within one tick before going and hitting the stop and then coming back down to the entry. So it would have been a valid trade. And William was absolutely right in that it hit target one, and the pullback would have taken us out at break even. So one tick break even. So all kinds of interesting things there. And a new long trade on the MNQ. So that's how you would go back and look at something you were testing. Obviously, if you're trading it, you're going to be looking for that in real time. Because if the trade hasn't triggered in yet, then you're working strictly off your trade cancel rules. And the only thing that will cancel a trade on Catapult is a crossover of the cat lines. All right. Nice long session today. You are most welcome, Pamela. We will see everybody back here again tomorrow morning at 9:30. Regular morning session and crude oil inventory report at 10:30. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good morning. All right. Good rest of your day, and see you tomorrow. Thank you, Miles. Thank you, Jeff. All right.